Episode 2.
Cheers. There's no whiskey in mine.
Yeah, about that. Anyway, what the hell's that noise downstairs?
That is the shear, the stomp shear, cutting metal. So we're probably going to hear that all podcast.
Uh-oh.
That would be our luck.
That would be our luck.
Yeah.
What did you think of the first one?
It was good.
Yeah?
I think so.
What did people tell you? Because I'll tell you what people told me.
Slow to start.
Yep.
We're slow to start. And once we got in the groove, I think it was good after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think people like the stories.
I had all the people, friends and family were like, you know, that guy, Jake, growing up with his dad, like, that's pretty interesting, almost with like a hint of concern with their eyes. I was like, no, he's fine. It made him the man he is today.
Yeah.
I was cracking up. I was like, no, you have to understand that we have pictures of Jake when he was like age 3 in the same building that he runs now. And they're like, really? I was like, yes, really. Like
Yep.
he's been quite literally cleaning black iron pipes since you were a tyke.
Yeah, grew up here. So,
Crazy.
Yeah, no, that was fun though.
Yeah.
A lot of good feedback. We've had feedback on the last episode from places I never thought we'd get it from.
I can't believe it. So we're kind of just starting this thing for fun, right? So just getting the idea of what we're going to talk about, show, and then I'd get emails back from people. So I got an email from our guy, our main man, Dennis, who works for Opportunity Council here in Bellingham.
Yep.
And even him, he was saying, he's like, by the way, this is awesome. And I like the drop kick.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, like this is reaching corners I would have never expected.
Yeah, it is crazy. I think people are looking forward to more. So
should we tell people about the drop kick story? Because
I think it's a good story. I think it's a good story. I'll let you tell the how
the
that
marketing
started.
side of it.
Yeah.
So when we were coming up with the idea for the whole beat up the furnace, like,
Yep.
yeah, let's the movie Office Space, let's take an old piece of equipment that we're ripping out of someone's home and just beat the hell out of it with a bat. And it was sitting there, and then I just had this idea. If you remember that old clip from Jackass, when I think it's Bam Margera, and he comes in, he just double kicks he hits Ryan Dunn
In the back. Yeah.
and just smokes him. And I kept thinking, I was like, that would be such a sick ending shot. But I was cracking up and staring at it. I was like, well, I don't really want to eat shit and land on the gravel. It's like 10 a.m. right now. I still have a whole day in front of me. And then I made a joke to you, and you're like, I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, I won't claim L&I if something happens, right? So, but, you were smart enough to say, well, we should put some padding down. And then I was like, well, let's use air filters.
You went running away and just with the finger up.
Got air filters and laid them down. And I had them initially like super far away. And then you were like, we should move those as close as possible.
Displays.
And luckily we did, because my head like just barely missed right directly on the gravel.
Don't worry about it. You had a hard hat on.
The hard hat came off immediately.
And run it, Jake. I'm fine. That was perfect.
It was perfect.
Okay,
It was perfect.
The filter's
It was
really
perfect.
work. Dear God, the filter's absolutely.
Yeah.
I was cracking
so-
up because when you came around the corner with the hard hat, I was like, where do we even have those in the back of the shop? I haven't even seen one in a while, and you come out with an old...
We've got hard hats for new construction and
Yeah.
commercial stuff, but yeah.
Gosh, just the commitment that... Don't get me wrong, I made a joke when I was talking to... when I sent an email back to Dennis, and I was like, yeah, that's the last time I ever tell Jake, bet you won't do that. And God, you just charged into it full speed.
It was one take, yeah. That was one take. It's all right. We have fun.
How's the shoulder feeling?
It's fine.
Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, it hurt the day after, but no. It's fine.
So what's it like? So this is probably one of my favorite parts, is that the video did exactly what we wanted to. Got a few thousand clicks, views, everything we want to see. But then we have to show the footage back to, this is one of my favorite parts, is when we show it to Ken. And He's like, so what are you doing? It's like, just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. We're going to have fun. We're going to do something. And he's like, okay, I trust you guys. We come back and just boom.
I sent him an email with the
initial clip.
The clip, and I think his only words back to me were, "Are you hurt?" It's like, no, I'm good. I'm writing you an email right now. I'd mention it, but no. That was good.
It was so fun. When I was down there and I was cracking up because we had, we're constantly hiring good people. That's just how it works. But we had our new guy, TJ, in his office up at the upper window. And he looked down and he was looking at me and I just caught direct eye contact and I looked at him and I went like this and pointed and went.
You're next.
And he literally you can imagine this poor young guy who he's left one career, he's starting a new one here at Marr's in the HVAC industry, and he's probably just thinking like, what the hell did I sign up for? And he just sees
This
you
is
and me.
Weird. Yeah, this is weird. They got an old furnace in the back parking lot.
Got the hard hat on, and
I
I think I twirled the bat and pointed it at him, and I was like, he's trying to just study and get smarter at what he's supposed to do, and God, it just cracks me up. But I love the fun stuff. It's for as much stress as we put into this, I feel like this is an outlet. Like it's truly, we just take a few minutes, step away, do what we want to. My ankle's still healing from when you broke it with the excavator.
Yes.
So that's an unfortunate.
There's another one, yeah.
Well, I was told that LNI is not applicable to you and I, as you said. So
Yeah, we're exempt.
we're exempt. Is there like a 5-year statute of limitations or?
I don't know. We'll see.
So I have an idea for the next thing we're going to do. We're not going to say it on camera because I never like spoiling the next thing. But there's a solid chance I need you to dress up for the next video.
Oh,
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
depends.
Depends.
That is an
No,
open-ended.
no. This is like Dwayne Johnson in The Rock. Are you in or are you out?
I'm out then. I am out.
No, man. We gotta do this.
No.
You gotta trust me.
Hey, what's up with our sign?
Oh, buddy. All right, we haven't had a chance to show the new viewers. This has been, let's think about this, probably 3 weeks in the making. Super excited to show. We work very closely with one of our trusted guys here in town, our main man, Kevin. You ready to show this thing?
Yeah.
Yep, representing the signpost. Woo!
Nice new sign.
Isn't she pretty?
We could have put money into studio lighting, and we chose to get a cool sign.
So this is like one of those things that, we're talking about doing this and committing and doing it long term. And I knew that if we did this, we put the couches up here, we put the heat up here, we get the camera, it's going to make us do it. And that was the half reason, is even though we want to obviously make this look a little bit more legit than the authenticity of being in a closet room in the top of our shop, which is the fun part of this.
Right.
I wanted to do this just because it's like, it's going to make us do it.
Yep.
We're going to stay disciplined. We're going to stay on this. And then I was cracking up because I think, was it Ken that was chirping you? He's like, how much did you spend on that sign? Don't worry about it.
It'll all pay off.
It'll all pay off, and don't worry, it's a backup plan.
It always does.
Yeah.
We do still have that cord exposed, but we'll talk about how we're going to fix that later, I guess.
I'll punch it through the drywall and bust a few knuckles to make sure it's all nice and clean. But
Yeah.
tell us about the good news that we're able to show the world. We haven't even released this to social media yet, so.
Nope, we're launching plumbing and electrical at roughly the same time, which has been it's not something
how it is.
It's not something that you plan on doing. I just had the right people walk into the building, and we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Like, we will not start a division until I have the right department head. Like, they have to be the right person for it. They have to be able to do the work, know the work really, really well, and execute at a super high standard. And they also have to be able to manage people. And that's a very rare combo.
Yeah.
And they have to share our core values and philosophies on how to do business. So again, after months and months of looking, we had the right 2 people walk through our door. So
It's almost scary how many applications we're getting now, eh? Like
yeah, it's a crazy amount. And I think I sifted through last time I checked, there was 500 applicants between the plumbing and electrical
crazy.
side.
It's crazy because you get the certain percentage, which are the very skilled guys who have experience. They've been doing it. Maybe they're with a company that they're not happy with. But I love seeing the ones where it's, I'm 3 years out of high school or something like that.
Yeah.
Life's not turning out the way I want it to be. I've heard about you guys from a friend or something like that. It's like the highest sign of flattery, right? When we start getting friends of our employees who are...
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? I can't get over that part. That's the...
I think it's crazy that people, like everyone that I've interviewed has said, well, I've looked at your website and your Facebook and your YouTube. Like they are deep diving. So now all the work that we put in is now a recruiting tool.
Yep, full circle. We've
So
now
that's
had
pretty
what...
fun.
I got to think about this. In the last year, I think we've had probably 5 hires that came just from friends of our own staff.
Yep.
Just, love working there. Oh yeah, we have a position open here. You should chat with Jake and Brandon, see what's going on, and that's crazy to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, just
been
so exciting.
A
But
whirlwind of hiring. We've hired 7 people in the last 3 weeks. So
yeah,
another duct truck. Our duct cleaning truck got booked up until like almost end of February, I think at this point. We're in October. So adding a truck there, electrical, plumbing, added a customer service rep. So just been busy. Been very, very busy.
we'll have our leads, and then we'll also have our second hands for both electrical and plumbing, which is pretty darn cool. So, but yeah, I mean, even when you talk about the duct cleaning side of it, I mean, do you remember how scared we were when we were looking at the prices of getting...
Yeah, it's
Well, not...
a huge commitment.
Huge commitment, and not even just the fear of dollars. Dollars come and go, but the whole, like, it's going to be a new department. Who's going to manage it? It's going to be a live entity.
How much traction will we get in the market? Like,
Yeah.
we
Going in blind.
we knew how many referrals we gave out, but we'd never marketed and then tried to source leads. Having the salespeople sell it, like it's a brand new thing.
Yeah, and then we went from having truly an empty schedule. There was some turbulence there, like the first week of like
couple weeks. Yeah,
exactly. We have a Wednesday book tomorrow. Like, hey guys, we're gonna have alternative tasks for you. And then of all things, I won't even tell our secrets, but we try something new. Next thing we know, we get absolutely lit up, and our customer service reps are pleading for mercy and be like, "What did you do?"
Yeah, and we booked out like 2 months in that
2
one
months
day.
in the one, and of all days, I still feel bad. It was a Friday at around 1:00 is when traction started.
I know. Yep, that's really fun.
Man. Yeah,
That's fun, and it's proven itself. I mean, people have been loving the service they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Our guys are super phenomenal at what they do. The before and after pictures, execution, AeroSeal, adding the AeroSeal to that bucket. So that's also been a huge thing. And we're seeing crazy numbers from that too.
I just love the story of how it bred. So like you said, we had all these people who would come to us. They want a service. They know us, trust us with everything in their home. It used to be kind of painful for us to be like, well, we don't do that side of it, but we will refer you out. And, people would have a less than Marr's experience, and we started picking up on that. It's like, all right, it's time to do this to our standard, which is so bloody cool. But like you said, and then AeroSeal, tell me a little bit about your time when you had to fly to the Midwest with junior guys, which is so cool to get certified in that process. But I still laugh up with them just following you, just totally green-eyed what they're doing. And
well, it was funny because when you fly out there, they basically, AeroSeal is a product that it's like an aerosolized vinyl that we inject into the duct system, and it seals ducts from the inside out. And so it's a pretty complicated process. Initially, when I signed up for it, and I knew it was somewhat complex, but then I got there and I realized, okay, this is pretty high level. Like there's a lot of variables. It's not crazy. There's just so many variables you need to control. Yeah. And so they actually did the technical training while I did the onboarding for the dealership. And it was pretty interesting. As we were doing the onboarding for the dealership, I got a glimpse into the factory and how they assemble everything. And they also showed us like how the equipment works too, which is really cool. Yeah. But our guys, I just remember day one, they came out and they were just big-eyed. They were like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
This is so cool. We're going to fix so many houses. And that was like, that's how if our people are like excited about it, I know
Yep.
it's going to be
Spot on.
easy to talk about, something that people are going to want.
Yep.
And it just makes sense, especially in our market where ductwork is in a crawl space or an attic, and all that leakage is just going right outside the house.
Yeah.
We've known that it makes sense for years, but again, I just have refused to bring on a department until we're ready to execute it properly, so timing was right.
Timing was right. It is pretty crazy. We have to be candid with our customers and say, we have the service ready to go. However, we're fully booked out till February, and at which point sometimes we'll have a customer gasp and be like, totally understand. We're racing the clock. We don't want to, grow too fast. We're very controlled so that we can keep that level of service that we've always done extremely high. And
We'll get through that.
I think people resonate when we say that, we do one a day. We're on a job site, one home a day. We're not going out to 3 houses a day and doing a half-assed job.
Yeah. One clean or one seal in a day
Yeah.
with the truck. And our duct cleaning process is like, we're pulling the blower wheel on the furnace,
Crazy
cleaning
stuff.
that, cleaning the coil,
Yeah.
really getting into the nitty gritty and making sure that we sweep the trunk lines. So there's a variety of ways that you can do the job, but there's only one real way to do it, in my opinion, and it just takes more effort.
The only way to do it right. Yeah, totally agree with that. It's been fun watching the young guys too, as far as homeowners showing the before and after pictures can be horrendous. Hey,
Yeah, I know.
I was looking at
Yeah.
one of the ones last week, and they pulled out almost like a half garbage tote full of dust, and I think the home was, I want to say it was like from 65 or something. So just breathing it in all
It's
day.
usually the panned off return bays in the
Yep.
floor.
Yep.
Those houses, they'll come out with loads and loads.
Yeah, and then I'm
it's
asking
bad.
questions to the boys
Yeah.
like, do they have a cat? And they're like, 3.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's kind of what I would expect. You can't really get a whole away from that. But you got to go to Texas recently, which I was kind of
Yeah.
jealous of.
Yeah. Did a tour of the Daikin factory there.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Which is nuts because I think they say that's the #1 by square foot building
I think
for
it's
manufacturing in U.S.
could be. I think Boeing might be #1, but it's really close. It's
Okay.
like number 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But
What was the square
I wanna say-
footage? It
I
was
can't
like-
remember, but I can't remember how many million square feet. But the fact that it's in the millions is crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's like 70 football fields worth of. It took
so
us
stupid.
an hour to do the walk around the facility and look at everything. But very, very cool.
Isn't it interesting when you talk to the guys from the other trades companies that go there? You get a little small talk at the dinners and breakfasts, and you talk with a guy who's working in Texas. You get another guy who's from Montana, another one from Florida. How you see eye to eye, but you have totally different problems.
Very different markets.
Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy to you? Like
Very, very different markets.
I can't
Yeah.
get over every single time I got to speak to a guy in Montana, and he was telling me, he's like, I've installed one ductless system in my entire tenure in the last 4 years. And I was like, excuse me?
If it gets to -40, they don't do well.
They don't do well, and
Yeah.
they just skip it. And then we go to the conferences where you talk to a guy from Florida, and his full-time job is just combating humidity all
Yep.
the time. And
Yep.
I don't think I even have a full grasp on what they fight in Texas. I imagine it's a little bit of both.
A
But
lot of attic systems.
Yeah.
I think really the biggest thing that they fight in Texas, from my understanding, is just poor ductwork, which is really similar to what we deal with here. But I think their guys are
really,
dealing with the same thing we're dealing with, just up in an attic.
like subpar contractors.
Just
back in the
subpar
day.
contracting. I think Texas, historically, I actually asked Ken Summers. He came in and did a training. Ken
boy.
Summers was I think he founded National Comfort Institute, and he is a part of AeroSeal now. And he said that, I want to say that Houston has the worst ductwork out of any municipality he's ever been to.
And
in
he'd be the guy
US.
to know, too.
He would be the guy to know. And I think he said it's because the contractors there are all subs.
Yep.
So you're an HVAC company. Imagine if I was the company and then I hired Joe Schmo off the street as a subcontractor, no W-2, to come, slam in ductwork. And I think that was just the way things. It's funny, you get into a market and somebody starts doing something, and then everybody starts doing the same thing. It's like it just becomes its own little microcosm of how they do things. And I think it just created a massive issue there. So that whole area I think they just deal with that.
Yeah. We have it, I mean, don't get me wrong, Bellingham's growing kind of crazy. I remember during COVID times when they had the statement that we had brought in more jobs per 1,000 person population than almost anywhere else, but the new construction has kind of slowed a little bit. Sometimes when you go to places in Texas and Arizona, it's just spreading so quickly. I get addicted to the videos online of the house
suburbs
inspectors.
popping up.
Well, I don't know if you see the ones where a guy comes in and he's like, this house was finished a month ago, I'm final sign off.
I have seen that. He's picking apart these new constructions.
They're
that are
just horrendous. Hey?
Yeah.
Like, just full brick walls are cracking off, and just everything's done so poorly. And I think that's the one thing that I don't know. I can't speak on Bellingham because we only get to get into so many homes a given day, but it's kind of hard for me to keep pace with these other places where, like you said, the inevitable is mediocre work, subpar designs, long-term problems. And
we'll say this, as much as codes are super annoying at times, they are super useful.
it's very true.
They should be there, and our inspectors are pretty diligent, which is a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing. It's good for good companies because it separates you, and it also elevates the market when you're being called out for anything. But I really have not seen in recent years any builders or companies that are going down the wrong road, if that makes sense. Pretty hard to get away with anything in Whatcom, Skagit County. Like it just is.
We have a
pretty diligent office.
A smaller pool, but more competent players in the new construction space, which is awesome to see. But you've been fighting that yourself, so it's pretty exciting. We haven't really talked about this, but the new building here at Marr's, we were kicking around the decision of what do we do with the existing space we have?
Right.
You came up with a solution. And now you're on the throes of trying to fight, get permitting approved, to do everything you can.
Again, codes are really cool, but a huge pain. It's been years of trying to get a new building built next door. And so, we just resubmitted. They came back, you submit a permit, they come back and they say, well, we need X amount more details. It's just how it goes. Mm-hmm. We just resubmitted that. And I hope that we can break ground first of the year. But
is that what we're looking at?
That's kind of what we're looking at. It just depends on them, their time frame getting back to us. But our builder basically said, whenever you guys are good to go, we're good to roll.
Oh, well, that's just painful. So
I know.
they're
I'm just
ready
waiting on the permit.
Waiting for a minute, but
that's going to be huge, though. That's going to free up a lot of room. We've been working out of storage containers. I mean, we run out of room in this building 10 years ago.
I think that's the neatest part about what we do. I got to be honest with you and say I was quite impressed yesterday so we get the Connex trailers delivered. Do we have another one on the way, by the way?
No, just those two that we got.
Just those two for now. Yeah. And I'm smiling up here laughing because I'm taking a video of the guy backing in just to make sure, we're good, safe, don't have any happy accidents. You already have the pallets out there with the racking purchased. Ready to go, and I'm laughing in my head because it's like there's just no room for us to.
You have to be on it.
Be on it, like
all the time.
No waiting a week, and
nope.
It's such a perfect example of like we have everything in motion for the new building, but we have to sit, be patient, wait, and you're like, screw this.
Shipping containers.
We're
gonna work out of them.
We're just gonna go fast and go now. I love it, man. High level problem solving being done at this rate is just not for the faint of heart.
That's the entrepreneurial spirit. Find a way to fix the problem right now.
Well, with our new plumbing and electrical, I mean, you've only been busier, but at a point where we've kind of pushed you to the side just so that you can focus on that.
I've actually had more fun being more busy doing the department side. Building things again. You know what I mean? That's fun.
I hear you.
Being in the fire all day is not super fun, but we basically, like, when we start a new division, we build a plan, we build checklists, we build an org chart, and then it's just about executing on it. So I was kind of joking with our plumber Sam. I was like, this is how you build a plumbing company in 20 days. This is the 20-day build a company plan. And we're in a position now where we basically we've got all the hard stuff figured out. How to having a phone system, people that book the leads, how to run a service call, like uniforms, trucks, how trucks get set up. All that stuff we've already built. Now it's just a matter of doing it in a different lane and executing that. So and I was talking to Ken about this too. It was like, man, all the stuff that we're doing in 20 days, this would take me 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
It would take me 10 years of infrastructure building to get this company, this division of this company, started from scratch.
Yeah.
10 years.
No.
So I'm super fortunate we put in all that work.
Yeah.
And we're in a position to do that. But
I mean, it's exciting too when you see, like, I love seeing Sam, who's been a professional journeyman plumber under different outfits. He's seen how other companies operate, and we're kind of having him like, we're going to build this department around you, and the same hand, we're going to give you the keys so that you're tied to your own success here. So I love seeing that. That's one of the big things. That you build out the department. This is your baby. By all means, living in the fires on the other side has not been fun, but we look forward to having you back.
yeah.
And but you can see the excitement in Sam's face. And I was still cracking up because when you're building the van and you look at him like, are you good at carpentry? And Sam kind of smiled. And he's like, sure. and I nudged him. I was like, Sam, if there's one place you have to be honest, it's here.
Yep.
You have to say what you're good at and
Yeah,
you're not,
you
so
can't.
that Jake doesn't go like, all right.
Yeah, you
here's a
can
drill,
build.
good
You can
luck."
build the whole back of the truck.
Yeah, design it how you want. I have an idea, but
No, and that's another. He's not used to this, but like when we start a division, like we want to build the prototype truck as number one.
Yeah.
So like when we build that first truck, we want it absolutely perfect. So as we
Yep.
keep adding, then we just tweak things as we add trucks, but we want them to be.
Yeah.
I think that's another. It's a very underrated thing that people don't talk about in a trades business, especially if you're trying to recruit good, talented
Yep.
young people, is make a truck that they want to work out of.
100%.
Make it easy for them to get their
Yep.
stuff, make it easy for them to clean it and organize it. You want it so when they roll up the back doors, the customers go, wow, that's like the most organized
Yep.
trade vehicle I've ever seen. Because the bar is just so low for that.
Yep.
So low. And the job satisfaction the guys get from walking
100%.
into a clean vehicle where they can think, find the stuff they need.
Yep.
Again, you're just controlling the variables that you can control because there's already enough on the job.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then I love when they kind of get ownership of their own business side. So
Yes.
a lot of the guys we bring on, they're professionals when they show up at a job site. They know what they're out to do. Everything's set up for them. And then we bring them in behind the lines and be like, okay, so here's what we need the department to do. Here's what will be expected out of you. You're going to help build out the price book with us. This line item could have anywhere from 300 to 1,000 characters, and they kind of go like this,
Yeah.
for a little minute. And I think it's so valuable because then once they're in the job, they're actively thinking about what you and I have to think about every single bloody minute of, it's not just spinning wrenches. We got to make sure this thing is designed so customer gets what they want, but we can replicate this day over day predictably.
That's the thing I have to keep reminding. It's always the same thing, but I have to keep reminding people. It's like, we're not building this for you. We're building this for the next 50 guys that are going to be
Yep.
using the same tools that you're using today.
Yep.
So you're building it to scale. Let's build it right the first time. Let's take the time to do it.
Yep.
It's just a lot of tedious work.
But I'm excited because we look at it through a customer focus is everything. We start everything at like what do our customers want and expect. And you remember this. I had this conversation with you literally my second day here of this seems very much in our alley. Customers already trust us. Let's run this play.
Clean water heaters?
Yeah, just everything on hot water systems. And you kind of had this look of pain in your eyes when you looked at me and be like, I know, but just stay with me. We'll tackle that one day. And I kind of crack up because here we are finally not having to pass the phone calls that we so dearly love. Like, sorry, Tom, we've worked with you for 8 years now. I wish I could help you on this, but just got to pass it off. Now I can fully say
It was really painful because we used to do them for years and years and years. It was a huge revenue chunk that we lost. Yep. But we made the decision to stop doing that because the laws changed in, I can't remember what year it was, 2020, 2021.
Was that recent?
It was that recent. Basically, you have to be a licensed journeyman plumber to be able to do a water heater. And it used to be that
2014
the heating mechanic could do that.
Yep.
So, in moments like that, you can choose to either play by the rules or not. And there's a lot of companies that don't play by the rules, but eventually that bites you. Yeah, very painful, but here we are doing it the right way. So it doesn't matter.
No, I'm quite excited about it, but I'd have to talk about it because I've had not one but like 3 people shoot me the message. Did you recently see about the Wall Street Journal talking about them minting trades companies as like the next item of the future,
Of millionaires?
the next
Yeah.
millionaire class
Yeah.
going forward?
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
I read the article. I think it was pretty thorough. I mean, most of the article is about PE, just
Yes.
private equity firms buying up trades
Yeah.
companies. But
For better or
it's-
for worse.
It's
yeah.
kind of, it is funny because the same reason that Grandpa went into business was this business in particular. Like he was reading books in a library, and one of the books said that automotive would be around for the next 100 years and heating and air conditioning would be around for the next 100 years. And he hated working on cars.
Yep.
So
true.
that's why he went that lane, right? So, I mean, it's one of those things like we talk about it, but we can't really get replaced with artificial intelligence at this point in time. And it's always going to be a need.
Yep.
Always going to be a need.
100%.
Plumbing, electrical, heating and air conditioning, they're going to change. They're going to evolve. They're going to be different, but they'll always be there.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that I don't think people realize how
Yeah.
lucrative it can be, you know?
Yeah, and I think we're only going to get more dependent too when I kind of look around at, family and friends that haven't grown up the same way you and I did. And
Having to work on stuff, you mean?
yeah, just
Yeah.
just the whole idea of you get a young person who's now a first-time homeowner and they've, I remember hearing the joke from a guy, he's like, you sit on a toilet twice a day, but you have no idea how it operates for the entire duration of your life. And
Right.
sometimes that kind of stuff clicks, but I can't speak to the truth of this, but I remember seeing a stat that for every 6 employees in the construction industry that retire or leave, only 1 is coming in.
Yep.
And I remember very clearly, the writing was clear for me. It's like I want to take what I'm very good at with an industry, like you said, that's just going to be here forever. And then being a real estate nerd helps, because if I'm not going to be selling or buying homes or anything like that, I get to work on them and love getting to digest that side. That's the fun part to me. But I do think it's going to get a little, crazy at the rate the town is growing. The people who still work on their own stuff is dwindling with every day. We have more resources now than ever. YouTube and everything's very helpful for small items, but you just can't mess with electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. It's not something you can do without burning down your own house.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. I mean, to your point, it will just continue to grow. And that generation of folks that did things themselves, I mean, again, I think the last episode I talked about specialization.
Yep.
If your job is this, I think as an economy, we're kind of in a state where if you do your job and just make more money doing that, you're probably better off paying the person to do their specialty, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, I think these lanes are good lanes to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look at our company as well. Like I have such a grand optimism when I look around at our team, and we're pushing 50 people, and everyone's young, wants the same thing, a very, very hungry team. And then I look at some other places you and I have been to, and you see guys that are just tired. They never designed their business the right way, so they've kind of been on the hamster wheel forever. And I'd say that's one of the neatest parts is you and I designing this in a way where it's sensible. You don't have burnout. We have smart practices in place where we're going to be able to grow sustainably and not overgrow, so that you've seen other guys who've gone too far and then have had to pull back and do layoffs. That's just of no interest to you and I. So
Creating opportunity for young people.
yeah,
I think that is if you genuinely do that, that is your number one recruiting tool.
yeah,
And you will, like people talk about, like you said, 6 people leaving for every 1 entering a trade. Yeah. I think the United States fully realizes that we're in that's a very real problem. And that is a good thing for people that want to enter the trades, because they are sought after.
Absolutely.
They're a needle in a haystack. They're going to get paid very well to do what they are learning to do. So, and how many opportunities do you have to walk in and get a paid apprenticeship somewhere? Like you can
so
walk
right.
in to this building, start at, in $20 an hour to $25 an hour range as a green person, and get paid to learn a trade that's going to benefit you for the rest of your life.
yeah.
Take on no debt.
Oh man,
it's such a wonderful.
You hit the nail on the head. Every single time we hire someone, I kind of pull them aside and explain the opportunity that's about to unfold in front of them. And like, you're going to be confused because you're doing things that you're not aware of, but I really want you to drill on one thing. You're going to be sitting in the truck with a guy who has, anywhere from 6 to 15 years experience. You're getting paid on the clock to learn from one of our best one-on-one. I said, I want you to think about any other industry. This is just not heard of. This is something that I want you to take into account, because you're going to go home and realize that when you're in the seat doing this by yourself, like, you never had that safety net before. So I totally agree. I think it's such a cool opportunity for young guys and young gals to kind of get their feet wet in a new industry. And
it's expensive.
So
recruiting,
expensive.
training.
Oh my goodness.
Young, like these people to get fully up to speed and get in their own vehicle and become a journeyman. Like, it's very, very expensive for a company. And so, again, recruiting the right people.
Yeah.
More and more important every day.
Well, and we put up so much upfront cost to get that person.
I know.
Here, and then you have to explain to them to be, totally candid. We look forward to having you on our team. We believe in where you're going. At the same time, you're not going to be able to bring anything back to us for probably, solid 2 months or so, if not more. Treat that time as such. And I love that we have, in my tenure with you, not a single person who is, backed out of that train. We had one person, they had a situation with multiple kids, and their wife got a new position and all that. But other than that, every single person's been here and advanced already.
Yep.
Which is pretty darn cool to see. But
it's cool. And I talk to the guys about this all the time. Like, the entire objective for growing the company is to grow positions that they can grow into, right? I know not everybody wants to be, in an install truck. I know that. I know not everybody wants to be in a service truck for the rest of their life, right? So you have to grow the company in order to be able to provide those opportunities. So
I still think my favorite part is when you said from the heart, and I know this is true because I know who you are, about the, I want each and every single one of you to experience the American dream. And we create this facility that you very much give back as much as we give to you. And I think that's so true of you guys are in control of your own destiny. This is where we're going. We want you to come with, contribute, be a part of that team. I just think that speaks so wildly, because in my experience, like, that's not a common thing around town. Most other companies, they'll look at employees as almost a liability, like a dispensable cost and thing, and that is not how you and I approach this. It's, I got someone who's got, bright eyes, a certain skill set, and I can tell that you're going to be here for as long as you want to be here. And it's so fun watching people just absolutely ratchet their own lives.
I don't know if I talked about this on the last one, but the best example of that I have is Kyle. Yep. The salesman here. I hired him when he was 18 off of a dairy farm.
We still have his resume.
And I can't remember. He posted an ad on Craigslist, which still cracks me up. But I thought, this guy posted an ad? That shows initiative. And it was basically something along the lines of, I'm working on a dairy farm and I don't like it. What else is out there? He's just an 18-year-old kid. And I've watched him go from 18-year-old doing dumb things to becoming just an amazing husband, father. He is elevated his entire life. He's worked his way up from
every position in the company.
He's done warehousing, sheet metal fabrication, service, install, and then finally got into sales. And sales was his true calling. You know, he's very, very good at taking systems and breaking them down and helping people. Yeah. But it's that has been the most fun thing to watch. Is bringing a young person, and then they just elevate their entire life, buying new houses and providing for their family. Like, that is crazy.
I love chatting with people like you said, Kyle, and I explained to him, like, you're on home number 2. At your age, there's no limit to what you can do in this life if you keep your foot on the gas pedal. And I don't think we have anyone here who doesn't exhibit that, which is my favorite. Like, I've been in so many places before where, like, you're just going for the stars and people around you are just looking to punch the clock and, it's my lunch break and blah, blah. I do not mentally see eye to eye with that type of person. And that's why,
if you have enough work hard, play hard people, they don't appreciate the people that don't aren't here to win.
Weeds it out.
Like you got people that are here to win, and you've got people that are just here.
Yeah.
It really they weed themselves out. It becomes less of an issue. That's a culture thing, but very, very thankful for that. Because can you imagine the alternative? I mean,
I've seen the alternative.
I've very hard to manage every day.
Oh my goodness, I've had to be a manager for the alternative, and it was painful because you could see your potential all the time. It stared at you in the mirror every day, but you had people whose ulterior motive was to not do that. I didn't want to expel effort. I didn't want to sweat. And it's like, okay, well, and you had stipulations, and in this company, I just love that's just not the case. Like every single hire is so methodical in how we approach this that even our customer service rep, we still got 300 applicants that we went through.
I know.
It's a hell of a journey to go through 300 applicants. We weed it down to about 20.
Yeah.
And anyone who's had to interview people knows that for every 20 people you weed it down to, 15 are a painful experience. They're still not a fun interview where, you walk out of it. And then there's that beautiful magical 5 where it's like, okay, this one's got a skill set here. This one's good at this. Where do we see this one blending in? And it always comes down to culture every time.
Yep.
I swear you're so right with that. That's always been my stigma of train the head but hire the heart. And but it takes a lot of time. And I laugh at all these old photos and videos of you just spinning in circles at night trying to figure it out, living here.
I remember when it was 7 people in the company, and it was nothing like it is now.
No.
Nothing like it is. It was a painful day every day.
Yep.
Truly. And I will always remember that.
Yeah.
And so I just did everything that I could possibly do to escape that, and here we are. It is funny to look back. Because if you don't look back, you don't realize where you're at.
Yep.
So I remember thinking, man, if I can get one new install truck, just one new one, because we had old.
Yep.
When I showed up,
The old shitty
old
Chevys.
trucks, and one of them didn't even have a sign on it. I was like, man, if I could just get one new truck, I'd be happy. And then it was 2, and then it was 3, then it was 4, and then it just. Next thing you know, you look out in the back lot, and you're like, holy cow!
Isn't that crazy?
We got a fleet of brand new install trucks.
Man, I mean, we laugh about that, but every single time I peek out the window, and gosh, even when we were getting the Connex trailer delivered, and we have to, displace 20 people's vehicles.
Yeah.
And we just sit there and laugh because it's like a game out there watching people move their cars. And
there goes the plasma table kicking on right now.
There we go.
There's the exhaust fan humming, so you're going to hear that in the podcast.
I saw it cranking a little bit ago, but it's just the nature of the beast. We got to get ready for Monday. Sometimes when I think about what it took to get to where we are, it kind of comes back to how we were raised and how we do this kind of stuff. I think you have to tell the story about your dad and the dirt bike because it makes me laugh every time when we talk about extreme responsibility.
Yeah.
And extreme ownership. It makes me laugh every time.
Okay. Well, it was my 8th. It wasn't my birthday. It was Christmas when I was 8. Mm-hmm. And I had been riding motorcycles since I was 4. It was and I wanted, I had an old, Honda 50, really, really old. In fact, I think it was my dad's when he was a kid.
A classic.
It was just a 1960s Honda. And I wanted a Suzuki dirt bike. And on Christmas morning, I opened up a brand new motorcycle helmet. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then they told me, well, there's something outside. And I went outside and there was a dirt bike there. And then I wanted to go ride it right away. And he was like, nope, before you go ride it, I'm going to explain to you how this is going to work. So we sat down. We had a chalkboard in our living room because I don't know why we had a chalkboard, but we had a chalkboard.
Yeah. And
he explained, okay, so I'm going to pay for half of it, but you're going to pay for the other half. And I know that you don't have the money for that because you're 8 years old. And I think half was probably $900 or $1,000, which is, it's a lot for an 8-year-old. And so he explained to me what my interest was going to be. And he was like, so here's the principal and here's the interest, and you're going to pay me every month, and you can pay me off by, I'm going to pay you for these chores. These chores I will not pay you for. These are just
Regular
you get
chores.
to live here.
So-
You get to live here chores, and then these are you get paid chores.
Oh man.
And so, you know, I got the full rundown, and yeah, so that introduced me to life.
Isn't that so smart?
He's very smart. I
Like-
was so bummed out about that when I was a kid. I remember being so bummed out.
No. You can't sit on it. Come over here.
No, yeah,
Here's your
you
debt
can't go
contract.
write it. Let me sit you down for 30 minutes as an 8-year-old, and
Yeah.
But no, it was great. It taught me an amazing life lesson.
Yeah.
You know, nothing's free.
Yeah.
Nothing's free.
Yep.
And if you think it is, you're wrong.
True.
And B, when you have a responsibility to do something, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And I did pay it off. And I think I paid it off sooner. I think I was like, I don't like this interest thing. So I think I
Figured it out.
Figured it out. You know, I got to work and
Yeah.
paid it off.
I think it always cracks me up because Ken's so good at basically teaching you the lesson, but letting you do what you want to do.
He is,
You know what I mean?
He's been very good. Like the people that worked under him,
Yeah.
like Matt, who's been here for as long as I have, he's always been very good at letting people make mistakes. He's never upset when anybody makes a mistake.
Yeah.
It's just, well, what happened?
Yep.
Give me a rundown on what happened. And what do you think we should do?
Yeah.
And I am pretty thankful because that's how I was raised.
That's how you
And
manage
and
as
that's
well.
how I manage people. And I think that's why I have good success managing people here is nothing is a big problem to me.
Yep.
I've seen a lot of things. There's no fire that I probably haven't dealt with.
Yep.
And tell me what you think went wrong. How are we going to fix it? No
Yeah.
emotional reaction to it. And that's just how I was raised.
Yeah. Well, and I just like to, like when we're going so many different directions, we're moving fast. That's just how it goes. And he just has, full trust, which I love seeing. It's a great nod of the hat when you get the Ken Marr, tip in the hat and
Yeah.
just knowing that we have everything under control. But that story just,
He's also been so helpful recently.
oh my goodness.
'Cause
He's behind the scenes. He's quite literally like, you don't see him. He's behind your shoulder, but then stuff just works when you need it to. And it's like, I appreciate every minute you're,
Yeah.
yeah.
And on top of that, he'll be here on a weekend on the excavator
Yeah.
fixing a parking lot issue. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So he gets to do what he wants anytime he wants, gets to go fishing, gets to
Yep.
go wherever he wants to go, gets to go skiing all the time. But it is really nice for me because I also get my weekends, which without him doing those things, I would be
Yes.
inundated. And I think he knows that. He's been there, done that. So he has freed me up to be able to do this and then walk away
Yep.
on a Friday night unencumbered,
Yep.
which that's good for me. It's good for the people that work here because it's unhealthy
Yes.
when you're living in that place operating that way. And I've been there. I've been the 70, 80, I had 1 week that I recall I worked 109 hours.
Yep.
And that was installing during a snowstorm and like just the worst week. And
I
you
remember
just don't realize how burned out you are until
No.
you step away.
when you and I started working with each other, I remember getting nervous because I realized that you were a workaholic too. And when you have two workaholics together, it becomes almost a sick game of
Who can outwork the other
who
one?
can outwork
I
the
know.
other, and both of
Yep.
us lose. Like, what are you doing Saturday? Oh, I think I might go for relaxing breakfast. Well, I'm going to be at work. Oh, all right, damn it.
I know.
Now I can't enjoy breakfast.
You never talk about it, but it's like when somebody leaves before me, or somebody. It used to. Now it doesn't bother me anymore because people show up before me to open the shop up, and people leave after. But I mean, it used to really, really upset me if somebody showed up here before me, and if I wasn't the last one gone. That was super unhealthy, very unhealthy. But it used to really upset me.
It did.
Yeah.
But then the honest conversation, I would be like, hey, this is what we did. This is what we got done. This is where we're going. But I am working on no sleep and I'm kind of dying inside.
Yeah.
Like you hit that wall and you really have to know. I was talking to the team downstairs about that this morning when we had our office meeting and just getting everyone ready. And I explained, I can't thank all of you from the bottom of my heart enough because, as little as a few years ago, it was just me, you, Brendan, one person at front office desk, another one handling install. And I said, I hated my life. Like every single day, you'd get your main job done till 5 o'clock, and then you would do the prep, and you'd be lucky. At least I was. I was lucky if I made it home before 8:45 at night, and you can't do that. So
No.
I'm really excited for watching what Ken does now. I want that for us so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to. I mean, the dream is to get it younger than later, right? That'll be a beautiful part when you start having people you can just toss the keys to and say, don't screw it up.
Don't put any scratches on it, kid. Yeah.
Hey, that's not straight out there. All right, God, I got like 10 things going on.
Yeah, that is actually my dream, is showing up here in the morning, a couple hours after everybody else gets here, cup of coffee, and just walking around and going, that dumpster could be straighter. There's cardboard coming out of that. Just as a joke.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would
Just a
never
fun
do it
nitpick.
just to micromanage, but that is the dream. Be an
It
old man walking around, just cup of coffee, inspecting things for no reason.
Well, and I look forward to that day as well, because I know what I'm good at. I know what you're good at. That'll be the next evolution, is when you're purely I call it the teacher without responsibility of execution. You and I are both inundated by the execution side, which just is relentless.
It's never ending.
Never ending. And it's, but I get very excited for that day. I always watch the guys from our industry who retired, and then they're like, yeah, I go teach 2 classes at a technical college on this and have life made, and like I'm done with the stressful side. And I was like, well, I don't quite want that, but I think like an in-between would be so cool to, like you said, come in and say, all right, we're doing training with Jake today.
I love training.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love the inner team training is always a favorite for me, when you have the young guys with experience and you see the young guys just listening so intently. And if they're not listening, they'll learn why they have to later. They'll deal with that situation. It's like, told you when you talked about that a month ago, I knew this was going to cross your plate. I love that kind of side, because you and I have done so much where it's gone wrong, and having the other people listen to like, hey, let's not make these mistakes. Let's all, as a team, kind of get smarter here. But yeah, man, it's kind of getting crazy.
It's getting crazy.
I'm getting really excited, but yeah, I heard you had something you wanted to ask us, and I was nervous to ask what it was.
Well, you're right to be nervous, Brandon.
What do you got, Brian?
Nah, but what I wanted to ask was regarding my favorite clip from last episode. Jake's comment about no replacement for going through hell. Why don't you guys share the situation that relates closest to that statement, and tell us how you survived the trip?
I'm definitely going first.
You go first.
I will never forget the snow day from hell working with you. So I think it was probably was it a year ago, 2 years ago? I don't even remember anymore. But we knew it was snowing. It had been snowing all week, and we were trying to make play calls the night before if we were going to roll vehicles out. And you and I were texting at like 5 a.m. because we could see the phones were starting to light up, right? Yeah. And it's like, okay, are we going to roll the vehicles out or not? And I was super nervous, but I knew I was going to take whatever you decided. And you're like, yeah, let's run it. Snow should subside. We get all the guys are sitting in the showroom, and we're dispatching them one by one. So we're trying to triage the emergency level. And it's like, okay, this person's got 2 newborn kids. We have to get someone out there ASAP. We look at the address and be like, they're in Sun Valley. And it's like, all right, let's give it a go. And then within, I got to think about this. It was probably no more than about 35 minutes, everyone started getting stuck.
Yep.
Every bloody vehicle we had across Whatcom County, luckily we didn't have any in Skagit that day, but every vehicle in Whatcom County started getting stuck in precarious places. And we were prepared. I had my personal truck there with a tow strap.
I had mine.
You had yours. Brendan had his truck here. We had to call Ken out to go get Joel off the side of the cliff over there. I had to run down to Fairhaven.
Mind you, these are with snow tires on the vehicles.
Yeah.
It was just the weirdest combination of snow and moisture that made it like the slickest.
Oh,
it was nuts.
And I laugh because you and I have been trained to work with such a level head, but our guys, I'm on a cliff. What? I'm on a cliff. The van, it's stuck. I'm on a cliff. I don't know what to do. And it's like, just calm down for a second. Start getting me some pictures of where you're at. And sure enough, that one scared the hell out of it. We had a Nissan NV 2500, which is like one of the, you know, mid-sized vans. And it was on a cliff below the western campus, and there was a little mini 2-inch curb holding the vehicle there. And if the vehicle went off the side, it's easily like 30 feet to a row of homes. And I said, leave it right there. Do not move it. Get out of the car, grab your tool bag. And you and I were just ripping guys 2 job sites. I'll never forget. I'd pick up one, go up Alabama Hill, drop him to a house with his tool bag, leave him there, go grab another guy, go to a different one. And then I'm getting the call like, it's an igniter. Can you get an igniter out here? It's a block B. Like, yep, we'll be out there in a minute. And it was just like this. And I remember sitting in my car at the end of the night, and it was like 10 o'clock at night.
You're just done.
I was like this, and I was so grateful we didn't have any accidents.
No accidents.
Not a single accident related to vehicles. I think we restored heat for over 30 homes that day.
Yep.
Which is crazy when you truly think about the amount of effort it takes to not only get staff that give a shit about the customer, truly at the Marr's level, 30 people plus. I don't even remember. I just remember going home.
Yeah, and that was only what we could get to. I mean,
Yeah.
there were so many. Yeah.
Well, there was a few we were able to solve over the phone, which is always a huge highlight. But I'll just never forget the shot call of, should we do it?
We're running it.
Let's run the play.
Yeah.
Let's go. And then just pure chaos. And at the same time, when you can't get to people, it's such a horrible problem, eh? Like you can't roll around town. We're simultaneously getting 300-400 calls. Very, few of them are our own customers. A lot of them are people we've never worked or talked to, and you want to help as many people. And we did a pretty good job. I'll never.
I'm going to plug the Marr's Advantage plan right now.
Do
Get
it.
on the Marr's Advantage plan, and you are a priority customer.
It's true. That's those were the first dispatch rolls. So, yeah, any of our customers that are getting their equipment looked at annually, everything's already checked and ready to go for winter is the first priority. But yeah, for those people that have a freak or fluke incident, they're the first ones getting seen at 7 a.m. that morning, which was pretty cool. But no, I will never forget that day. I will never forget the drain when we had the one. It had a condensate drain plugged on a high efficiency furnace. It terminated on the outside, and the wind coming off the bay from the ocean just froze it right there. And I was there with another tech, and I was pouring hot water. He had a hot water towel, and it was the worst precarious spot. And I'll just never forget, because I heard this giant whoosh, and I just started hearing the tech yell, "God damn it!" I was like, "Oh no, what happened?" And I had come out, and the ice pick, which was like 10 inches tall, had just smoked him right in the head. It had freed itself from the PVC line when he was like this, and it smoked him. And you can imagine when it's, whatever it was, 17 or 20 degrees out, and he had all that cold water right inside his jacket. And, the customers are thankful. I love that side, but I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, God, it got you good.
That is so funny.
It's so bad, but
That's a
going
good
through
story.
hell, man. It's we deal with our fair share of weird issues, but when it's the external variables, I think that's when I cringe the most. That people just don't know how hard it is. That of course we want to help everyone as fast as we can, but when you have that third party variable, that's
I always love the people that are like, you don't have 4-wheel drive vehicles. It's like, nobody has 4-wheel drive service vans.
No.
Nobody.
yeah.
Nobody. I mean, maybe if you live in Montana and you custom order one, but they're just not available.
No, there's no $100,000 Mercedes 4x4 vans being bought on a whole fleet. Like, it's always that oxymoron.
For the 3 days a year that it might snow here.
No, like you said, full winter tires, chain setups, loaded vans. We couldn't do everything more right, but I still laughed because I remember a customer who was in Sun Valley, and I had to explain to her on the phone. I said, my guy is in your neighborhood. He's about, no joke, a quarter mile down the road. He's walking towards your house with his toolbox right now. And she was so thankful, but then she started kind of chirping a little bit, and she's like, well, my Toyota Prius made it up the road. And I was like, yeah, I'm not too surprised by that. These are fully loaded, 2,500
rear-wheel drive
rear-wheel vans.
Yeah.
And I said, it's also a game of protecting the assets. Like, I just have to make sure we don't have any incidences. And I think anyone who's been to Sun Valley on a snow day knows it's just pure chaos. And
It's chaos.
yeah, leave your vehicle somewhere safe. But that was the one that put some hair on my chest where I went home and I slept like a baby. And then we had to do the whole thing over again to a less severe extent. But I just get scared of winter now. Like,
I've never lose sleep more than when there's snow days.
Nope.
Used to be my favorite thing in the world when I was a kid. This business ruined that for me.
Ruined it, man.
Just took it away.
I literally was telling the team, I was like, how I miss the days of any other office, any other work entity. Like, don't come in today. It's go. Please stay home, have your coffee. And instead, you and I are like, how much money are we going to suffer today trying to help people?
What's the risk of losing a truck today?
Yeah. What is the chance that one of our trucks gets plowed in an intersection? And
Yeah.
I think people are grateful. I always love that part. Like I got to take one of our guys, Jaren, up to a house, and the homeowner answered the door, and she had no heat whatsoever, and she was in her PJs. And she's like, I can't believe you guys made it up Alabama Hill. And I'm laughing because I'm trying to keep a straight face. So I'm like, me either. Like, that was just absolutely like going up, giving it our best. But yeah, that day forever will live in my memory, just as far as you and I looking like, do we do it? Okay, let's do it. All right, let's commit. Let's go. And then just
All hell breaks
freaking
loose.
chaos. But
My story's a bit different.
oh God.
Mine's not like a logistical nightmare story. It's just my first and worst crawl space.
Okay. I love
So I think I mentioned this in the last podcast. Dad used to go find, when he hired me full time in the summer, I was 13, to do ductwork and gas piping.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with a gentleman named Pavel, and he was just a very old school, to this day, the hardest worker ever. And he would do all these duct retrofit replacements and gas piping. That's all he did, really. And we had a house that Dad found on Smith Road that had a crawl space that, I'm not kidding, it was like this throughout the whole thing. And Pavel was pretty short. He was probably like low 5 foot, like pretty skinny guy. I mean, he worked his whole life, so he was in good shape. I was 13, so I could fit pretty much anywhere. And
in there, buddy.
we went in there and we were doing, it wasn't just a duct system. We were doing a full steel duct system. And it was so tight that we had to start in the back and work our way out. So nobody can get into this crawl space, but it didn't really matter because the crawl space wasn't designed to be worked in at all.
Yeah.
So we were like, literally had shovels digging portions of this crawl space out so we could run duct work. We were under there for over a week, digging, removing old stuff, insulation, duct sealing. And on top of that, it was rat infested.
Yep.
So
Always.
That's where I on day 3 quit. Okay. It's the only job I've ever quit. I came home and I said, Dad, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And he said, no, that's fine. But here's the deal. I'm going to go take my entire day tomorrow and I'm going to go help Pavel. So I'm going to get in the crawl space. And if you quit now, you're never going to work for me again. And I will always remember, I was like, God, I can't do that.
He pulled the old dad.
He pulled the dad thing on me. He's like, I'm not disappointed. I'm not upset. But he's like, I get it. It's very hard work. But yeah, at the same time.
You were 13.
Yeah. And looking back, that was a pretty brutal thing to say.
Of course.
Like, you'll never work for me again. He was totally bluffing. But I went back the next day, kept going to work, just got worse. Like I didn't quit, but it just got worse. I remember I was crawling through and I had a respirator and coveralls and I was like, God, something really smells bad. Like something smells awful. And I looked down and my face, like my respirator was covered in rat sludge. It was like a decomposing rat was right under my mask. And at that point I was just like, you know what? Who cares? Who cares anymore?
You'd put like your mask down.
I think I just picked the rat up and just moved it. I mean, at that point, I just did not care. But it was so, I'll never forget the smell.
But how did it get in the mask? You like had your mask
It didn't
down?
get in the mask. It was like I was crawling through the crawl space, mask
Lord.
down. And I had a headlamp on, so I could see ahead of me, but I couldn't see
Down.
underneath me. And I was just like, what is that smell? And it was right on my mask. And I will never ever forget that job. I've never worked harder. I've never been in a worse crawl space.
Yeah.
The first one I was in, and it was the worst crawl
That
space.
was the first one?
It was the first crawl space I
you
ever
poor
worked in. And I've never, I almost can't believe it. I have never seen a crawl space as bad as that one, ever. And I always thought, there's got to be something else out there. And Dad even said, he's like, no, I think that was the worst one I've ever seen. Like, it's awful.
It's so
Awful.
cruel, and I love it.
Awful.
This makes me want to shake Ken's hand.
And what's the best about all that is we didn't make hardly any money doing duct replacements. I mean, it was awful money, but we put in these beautiful steel duct systems all over, and everybody needed them.
Do you still drive past the house and think
Yes,
about it?
I know.
That's the haunting
I know
part,
exactly what house that
You
is.
never forget it. You drive past it for the rest of your time, and you can stare at it forever.
Oh, that was the worst. I
the one.
remember
Yeah.
being just covered in insulation and sludge, and I don't even I remember what I packed for lunch. That's how vivid, like, these
Visceral
memories.
memory, man.
I remember that I packed Cinnamon Toast Crunch in a Ziploc bag because my parents, like, they were like, "Hey, you're 13, you're on your own. Like, you go to work, you're going to work. You can figure it out." So I just had like Cinnamon Toast Crunch in a water, and no, I will always remember that job.
There's nothing else to teach you what you know about yourself until you start getting that moment of claustrophobia. I've been stuck in one time where it was a support pillar. It was against my back, and then the insulation had all fallen, and it was kind of holding my chest a little tight, and it actually started spooking me because I'm like can't get out of it. And
I've been stuck. You got to relax.
You do.
You got to relax and not freak out, because
Yeah.
if you do, you just get more pinched.
Well, and it's funny when you watch guys who've been doing it a long time. If you just watch them, they do little tricks. You're like, oh, why didn't I ever think of that? Like, you're just manhandling something, and they're like, no, come here, go on your side, pull it this way. It's like, oh, that's a lot easier. I wish I would have known that forever ago. But did you by chance see the crawl space that Matt found a few weeks ago? We're still working on it, right?
That was pretty bad.
If we get the opportunity, we'll put the image of that crawl
in.
space entry on the screen. There was two of them that we've come across in the last while from these old homes in the Northwest that it doesn't even make sense. Like, they built these homes expecting no one to ever use this other than a vent, and it blows my mind. We were laughing because it's like, we can't even fit half our team down that. We would have to be selective of who of our team can actually fit down through that. And I always picture little 13-year-old Jake just like, all right.
The amount of lettered streets, Bellingham houses that
Oh,
I was
man.
in from
always.
13 to 18 every summer, they're all the same.
All the same.
They're all bad.
Yeah.
Every one of them. Be careful what house you buy in Bellingham. That's one thing I'll say. Be careful. Have an inspection. Some of these houses are held up by shims.
But they have so much charm.
They have so much charm inside, but they're full of rats in the crawl space, let me tell you. And,
Yeah.
you just, I don't know. You never know what you're going to get.
Rodents are one thing, but I would agree with you. The actual structural side is the scary part that people just overlook. Everyone looks at a kitchen like, oh, I can remodel it. Oh, I can. You cannot adapt the underside of your home without significant bloody effort. That is the one thing that I hate watching people learn the hard way. It's so true. Like, yeah, well, don't worry about the rodent problem. These ducks have been underwater at least for a month, at some period of time. And
I can't tell, like, it must have just been before excavators were...
I don't get it either, man. It actually,
the amount of effort put into digging
Yep.
back then was just not there.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy, because he was in Iowa, of all places, with one of his rental properties in Bellingham, and I explained to him, because he has the whole drainage issue, and I said, in Minnesota and places like that, they have beautiful walk-in basements, perfectly insulated, with their mechanical equipment all right there, nice and heated, never have a problem, it's got perfect dedicated drain lines. I said, it's a total different ballpark for us. Like, we're just under houses every single day, and the furnace seemed to be the last thought of this house designed in 74. But I'm not going to complain.
Sorry, we wouldn't have the name of the podcast without the crawl
That's
space.
the thing, right? It gives you that pain factor.
Yeah.
Whispers from the crawl. So, well, it's been a lovely little Friday. I appreciate any time we get to kind of step away from the desk and actually It's been a crazy one. We got another guy coming in Monday next week for his first day, first shift. We got 2 new duck guys coming in. Plumber will probably be on his own for his first time next week.
Yep. Electrician starts Monday too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bloody crazy, man. Well,
we'll figure it out.
We always do. But yeah, always grateful to spend a little time and check in and actually describe what's going on. And I just love the people come up to us and say it's so fun to see the behind the scenes. And it's like, yeah, that's all we want to do. We want to show people the pain behind a successful company. Everything looks great on the outside, and it's a fortress, but on the inside is stress and gray hair and extreme exerted effort to make this thing run properly. So
problems you would never think of.
We'll get into that on the next one. In fact, I already look forward to that. The next podcast, we'll talk about the stupidest problems that have come across. I already have 5 to come to mind that's like, there's no way this is calling me right now. This is what I'm answering a phone call for.
Yeah.
No way.
We got lots of those.
Cool. Well, we appreciate you guys. Check in. Once again, if you want to follow our YouTube channel, we kind of have a mix of content, whether it's a podcast like this, some of our recent installs, and just kind of some of our current happenings here at Marr's Heating. So you guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks for watching.
See ya. Bye.